Muckluck here, and I make concise game reviews that help you decide if you want to buy something without spoiling the game for you. This is Remnant 2, a Souls-like action-adventure RPG. It is available on PC, PS5, and Xbox, and is rated M for mature. In full disclosure, I received my game copy for free for my work, but the goal of this review is to determine whether or not this game is worth its $50 price tag for you. The game's setting with no spoilers beyond the early tutorial. In Remnant 2, you are dropped into a post-apocalyptic world. You and your friend are trying to find a colony of survivors. On the way, you are attacked by monsters infected by the rot, the strange growth that has damaged the world. You become injured but are found by a group from the compound and are rescued just in time. After you are treated and taken to the compound, you meet Ford, who has something to show you. He takes you to a large red crystal and activates it and instructs you to tell the others to bury this place and forget about him, then touches the crystal and vanishes. You are rightfully confused as hell, then moments later another person who had been watching the whole exchange is pulled screaming into the crystal. Against your better judgment, and probably not wanting to be blamed for their disappearances, you dive in after them to find out what happened and find yourself on another world, which is where the fun begins. The general gameplay. At the beginning, you simply choose your appearance and your difficulty setting. After reaching the compound, you get to pick your first class. You can change it later, or even multi-class, but your first one will be the one you use for the next 10 hours or so. Remnant 2 follows the rules of most Souls-likes. Resting at the bonfire or red crystals in this case will refill your healing item and respawn most non-boss enemies. It will also refill any ammunition you are missing. It can be played single or multiplayer with groups of up to 3 people. You will gain levels of whatever classes you have selected, unlock additional classes, unlock new perks for them, discover traits while playing, get trait points you can use to level up the ones you desire, find new weapons and equipment, upgrade them in town, customize them with special abilities, and more. You do not have to have played the previous Remnant titles to enjoy this game, but you will have better context for what led to the current events if you choose to do so. After stepping into the alien worlds, it is important to note that you may not do the worlds in the same order as your friends. If you want to play with your friends, there are settings that allow you to reset your campaign progress so you can sync up if needed, and there is also adventure mode, allowing you to replay a region after you have defeated its final boss, but with many differences to it. Each time you play a region, it chooses from a pool of options, so my first world may not be the same as yours, and even if it is, we may have different bosses, which leads to a lot of replayability, with worlds full of mythical beings such as futuristic robots, magical fae, and British people.
Oh, hell no, man.
Remnant 2 took me 21 hours to beat the main story the first time on veteran difficulty. Naturally, for the reasons I've already mentioned, the game has a lot of content that I haven't seen yet because of the various worlds and tile sets. It is simply not possible to see all of it in one run. So if you enjoy the game and keep going, there is many more hours of content you can get out of it beyond the campaign. Comparisons to other games. Being a Souls-like, the game can be easily compared to other Souls games, with features like bonfires, dodge rolls, and Estus flasks. But with many classes having firearms and ranged combat, there is a dash of third-person shooter thrown in. The details. Graphics. The graphics of Remnant 2 went for a highly detailed, realistic approach on the starting world, but really getting to spread their wings on the other planets with magical creatures, rot monstrosities, and futuristic science fiction. Sound and music design. The sound design of the game was fantastic, the weapons having very satisfying input when you landed attacks, the game's music was often very quiet when at rest and picking up when in combat. The boss fights and the various worlds each have their own playlist, which sometimes amped up as the boss's health got lower, making it feel like an entire orchestra was rooting for you. Controls. The game can be played with mouse and keyboard or controller. I did my playthrough with mouse and keyboard, and my only complaint is that dodge and jump are the same button and cannot be separated. That means in the uncommon situation that you are next to something you can jump off of, if you try to dodge something, you will instead leap off and still get hit. Fortunately, this was not a common problem, but I would definitely like to see them separate dodge and jump to 2 separate keys. Saving system. The game auto-saves your progress at certain checkpoints, such as going through loading screens or starting a boss fight, and does a manual save anytime you interact with a red crystal. Content creator concerns. None. I streamed my entire playthrough on Twitch and uploaded the entire thing to our Muckluck Plays YouTube channel and did not experience any muted VODs or have any issues with copyright claims. Anything negative to say? Aside from the dodge and jump key issue, my only complaints are extremely mild. Due to the highly detailed nature of the world, the loading screens also took time accordingly. I wasn't a huge fan of the many small things with long animations, such as interacting with the red crystal, getting NPCs' attention so they will interact with you, going through their dialogue every time, things like that. Again, to stress, these these were small issues, but some that I got impatient with the more I played the game. Final thoughts. I found Remnant 2 to be a bit easier than other Souls-like games like Dark Souls or Elden Ring with its extensive ranged combat options. But unlike those games, it does have higher difficulties: Normal, Veteran, Nightmare, and Apocalypse, and I played on Veteran. I played it without having played the earlier Remnant titles, but I did not feel like it removed any of the fun for me. The graphics and sound were great, and the customization was fantastic. The dual class system and trait points allowing for massive amounts of individuality, even when playing with others of the same starting class. The many versions of the same worlds allowing for large versions of replayability is also a major win for the game. My game was 100% bug-free on launch day, a rare treat in the industry recently, and most importantly, it was hellishly fun. I won't show the final boss here because I don't wish to spoil you, but it is one of those that I will remember in gaming probably for the rest of my life. For those reasons, I have to say that Remnant 2 absolutely felt worth it, and I even enjoyed it more than other $70 titles I've played in the last year, despite it costing less than that. This video is not sponsored, so if you enjoyed it, please consider hitting that like button to help us out with the YouTube algorithm, and subscribe for more content. If you'd like to see more of my own playthroughs of Remnant 2, I'll include a link to those playlists from our other channel down below. As always, a massive thank you to our dear patrons who make content like this possible. If you'd like to become a supporter and earn early access, there's a link to that in the description. Happy gaming! Wait, why is it that the rot is bad for us, but if we eat the rot, it heals us? Can we solve this whole problem if we just eat the universe?